This is day 41 disaster relief, bringing you an update on April 16th, 2025. So we have been planning for the last week and a half really to head down to Kentucky to help. There's been a lot of flooding and there still are issues with floodwaters getting into homes, displacing families, in some cases ruining or damaging homes to where they're unlivable or they need substantial repairs. There has been tragically and sadly loss of life in that area. We're talking central Kentucky, around Lexington, Louisville, and kind of in between. I don't know the exact footprint of the flood zone, but I know it's in those areas and several small towns in the vicinity of that part of Kentucky. So please keep them in your prayers. We have been trying to collect things that we know can help, but we had been spending some time trying to find a specific place to go to. It's one thing to have an address of like a local fire department or another place that's doing disaster assistance and relief, but we need to know when we're out of state. We have to have someone that we can talk to so we know specific needs. We know not just what day, but what time of day we can be down there and things like that. So we've been looking for that and praying for a contact, and just for whatever reason, having a longer time at it than normal. Just trying to get a hold of someone. And I was in Proverbs today, chapter 16, verse 1 says, "To a man belong the plans of his heart, but from the Lord comes the reply of the tongue." You know, God's word, he has the word and the final word of what plans should be. So with verses like that in the back of your mind, you know that God is working things out, and if there's delays on our side, it's probably there for a reason that he has, and he's working things on a different side that you don't see. So scripture like that is a great reminder. It's a great encouragement. Hopefully for you watching, if you're waiting on something or struggling just with how plans should be made and be carried out, hopefully that verse is an encouragement for you. I was in a process yesterday of trying to get a hold of some people, and I finally did come in contact with a church in Lebanon Junction, Kentucky, which is south of Louisville, that unfortunately has been hit by a lot of flooding. That town has, but this church, a small church of maybe around 50 people or so, and I was talking to a nice man from that church. Mickey is his name, and he's working around the clock just to help people get supplies out to people that need it. Help people find places and get work done on their homes and things like that as needed. And that's very demanding, as well as just taking care of people's material needs, taking care of people's spiritual needs, and praying with them and being there with them in a very stressful time. And they're dealing with, sadly, the loss of someone in their church congregation, and had a funeral just recently. Within the last couple of days, and it's very sad to hear about and to see, in the midst of the sadness and the grief, there's still all this work to be done to help people find places to live, to clean out homes. So I was talking to him though, just got off the phone, and they have some needs there that I'd like to share. We're going to try to head down and help them out here in a couple days, but they need flat shovels that you can scoop with. Probably any kind of rubber boots or rubber suits would be good too. They need brooms and mops. They need large fans, like box fans or larger, to help dry out places. Buddy heaters, propane, generators, anything like that. Those are some of the big needs right now. They do have a lot of food and stuff, and cleaning supplies like soap and household cleaning supplies and disinfectant materials and things like that. So they're good on that side for now. So those are some shopping list items that they're in need of. If you feel led to give or contribute, we can use funds to acquire some of those things to take down to them, or we can collect physical material donations as well. But certainly keep them in your prayers. And that's one side of it. But where God really came through and has really lined some things up is we had spoken with a nice a couple that both Cody's family and my family know that wanted to donate a camper, and we were thinking about how to get that down, and and there definitely are needs in Western North Carolina still, and we're thinking and praying about that and trying and kind of talking to him about that. And we've never facilitated a camper donation. 7 months ago, we didn't know we'd be doing any of this, so we're just asking God to help us figure it out as we go. But they felt led to give this camper, and as we were working through that and trying to make our plans for Kentucky, came across this family that Mickey down in Lebanon Junction, Kentucky, is trying to help. We'll keep their names, of course, anonymous. I actually don't even know their names, but I know their story. And it's a single mother with 2 teens, and they lost their entire home in the floods, and spent through all their funds. They don't have anywhere to go. They're in a homeless shelter, and they need a place to stay. And Mickey has been asking if anyone have a camper, and so we came across this need yesterday, and then realized, like, this is, if we'd found somewhere else to go, we would have been able to help last week, and that would have been good, but I think God was holding off until this time. So we were working with this very nice couple who we love and appreciate, to get this camper down there, and we're hoping, Lord willing, that we'll be able to do that by Saturday. So we'll get that and check it out, make sure it's good to go, because we want to make sure that everything works well, and I think it does, but we'll just double check everything and see if there's any needs for that, to be furnished and ready for a family to move in, and Lord willing, we'll be able to take that down there and bless this family with what this couple that we know, what they have so generously, given, to the Lord, as well as to this family. And one of the most encouraging things that I've been able to be a part of in the last 5 or 6 months of doing this is just to see other people's generosity when God has spoken to them and the Lord has laid it on their hearts to give something sacrificially. It's just to be able to see that and be a part of it, and to take what they've given and bring it to somebody else to bless. God has really blessed me and my family and Cody and his family to allow us to be a part of that. So we're always deeply appreciative of anything anyone is ever, feeling led to give, to help these families in these areas, these parts of the country, Kentucky. We haven't been to West Virginia yet, but we know there's similar, needs in some of the parts in West Virginia, Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, parts of South Carolina and Virginia as well, just in the mountains and in some of those towns there. Just so many people that have been hit by some of these recent flooding and landslides and wildfires now. There's a lot of needs, and I just wanted to share, that if anybody else does have a camper that they're willing to part with, or even if it's an older one that's in livable condition, no leaks, no substantial repairs, if it's something that you're looking to get a new camper, and then maybe you were going to get a little bit of trade-in on it, but you feel led to give, or if you're just able in a place where you can donate a camper, we can take those. There are more families in need. I know in Western North Carolina they need them, as well as Kentucky. Many families just don't have anywhere to go. Some people are living with others, but there's limited capacity for that. And there's another elderly lady in her 80s with disabled children or grandchildren that live with her that need one camper with some kind of handicap access, whether that's a ramp or lift, and they're staying with another family right now. But it's just imagine having someone stay with you and their whole family. We'd like to be able to open our homes to help others, but for people that are doing that, it's a long time maybe to be hosting another family. You know, so if you could get them to a camper, if we could get them to something they could stay in, and this church is taking these campers. I think their plan is to accept them as a donation and lend them out to families that need them. And when that family gets back to a home, then give that camper to somebody else. You know, so that it's a gift you can give that can keep being used over and over again to help people. So I just wanted to share that because locally, most of the people that were going to donate campers already did. So they're sort of tapped out. And it's kind of like with propane or in the winter, you know, we got to a point where locally there just wasn't a lot of extra propane, or there weren't a lot of extra tanks. And Cody and I and all of you who gave last January and other parts of the winter that gave propane tanks, you know, we were able to take down a decent supply and really help boost their supply of tanks, and they were able to get those filled and exchange them with people and keep people warm through the winter, and it saved lives. It kept many people from freezing to death, and many here in Fayette County of you that are watching, you know, we're a part of that. So if there are people, you know, in this part of Ohio, we've been blessed to not have these. We got our issues, you know, we got wind and tornadoes here. We've had some issues with that, but not the widespread flooding that they've had. So, you know, if we're in a position here where we have something of which we could be giving, there is an opportunity to do that if you feel so led. But of course, you know, pray on that and see what God's telling you to do. You know, it's always between you and the Lord. The only thing I really ask is just that you be praying for these people. But we definitely want to share those updates and those needs. And you know, we will be looking at that camper tonight, collecting anything we can in the meantime. And our plan is to go down this Saturday in the morning, to head down to Lebanon Junction, Kentucky, and meet up with Mickey and his church and some others that are helping there. So we'll continue to post updates as we know more, and if the needs change. But even if it's not a whole camper, they can still use some shovels for scooping, and some big box fans and things like that. So those needs are also there. So there's big ways and little ways to be helping, and again, there's always prayer. So thank you so much for watching our video and being a part of this. We look forward to having an update for you, hopefully tomorrow or Friday. Thank you, and God bless.